The Holocaust is known as the mass murder of about 6 million European Jews. The Nazi leader of this tragic event during World War II was Adolf Hitler. In 1941, everyone designated as a Jew in German-held territory were marked with a yellow star, making them open targets. Tens of thousands of innocent Jews were being deported to the Polish ghettos. In the concentration camps that the Jews were being taken to, they were tortured and starved to death. I interviewed my grandmother, Esther Weisel, to hear her story of survival during the Holocaust.
I was born 3 months after the Nazis invaded Paris. So I was just a baby. My father was captured by the Nazis when I was 9 months old, and my mother became a slave to the Nazis. She was sewing their uniforms and repairing them until such time as things got really worse and they had to leave Paris. My grandparents owned a home outside of Paris, and so my mother, my aunt, and my grandmother went into hiding. My grandfather had already also been captured by the Nazis, and they went into hiding in the cellar of that house. And I was taken to a non-Jewish family for them to take care of me. We stayed there until the Americans liberated us. They came, they went into the house, went into the cellar, and by that time the war had been over and they liberated my family. My mother and my grandmother and my aunt came to the United States on a freighter in 1947, and we stayed with my paternal grandparents and their 2 sons for about 3 months, but we had to leave the country because we had no papers, so we couldn't stay in the United States. So we went to Venezuela because we had a distant family member living there. I went to a Hebrew school until the 6th grade. When I was in the 6th grade, I went to American public school and graduated high school, and I got a job as a bookkeeper. And when I was 21, I got married and left New York. After we got married, my husband and I, Jeff, I moved to Los Angeles. He had been living in Los Angeles since he was 13, and we had met on the West Coast. And I went to work as a bookkeeper, and he had been in the Navy for 3.5 years. And so he started university. And he went to school, he went to college, and I worked for 5 years until he graduated. And we had our first child. My mother passed away in 2001, right after the World Tower buildings collapsed. She had rheumatoid arthritis, she had a heart condition, she had had a stroke. She was not a well woman, but she did a lot of volunteer work, and she died, her heart just gave out, and she was 84 years old at the time.
Even though there will be many more hardships in Esther's life, she's going to be brave and put everything negative that happened to her into a positive, to keep fighting through every tragedy that comes her way. For example, Esther and her husband Jeff go on many vacations together to have fun and spend time with each other by seeking joy in their lives, as well as spending time with family.
My husband and I, we've been able to travel. We've seen quite a bit of the world. We've gone to the Galapagos. We're going to Japan in May. So we've done quite a bit of traveling, and as long as we're both able, before we get too old where traveling becomes difficult, that's what we're going to continue to do. We like seeing the world and meeting other people, and it's very enjoyable.